If a peace deal were signed today, would the Ukraine war truly end? Vladimir Putin would claim his defenses imposed a fait accompli on the West, while Volodymyr Zelenskyy would assert Ukraine survived a fire destined to consume it. But what follows the signatures? Do the guns fall silent? Or does the fire merely change form? 3 years of grueling war and attrition have made decisions tougher than combat itself. Peace no longer feels like a beautiful word. It has become an equation, a balance of our era's ledger and bills. This report skips what Vladimir Putin demands or Western promises. It simulates what happens 1 week out, 3 months ahead, testing the hardest choice in this battle, halting the war and pricing every plausible scenario. The question has shifted from how the war began or who triumphs. Now it's how it might end and who bears the end's price. Volodymyr Zelenskyy steps back. Recall when real change pierced his rhetoric? Not today, nor at the Berlin meeting in November last year, when Volodymyr Zelenskyy first admitted some Ukraine allies oppose NATO entry at this stage. No slip of the tongue. This marked public acknowledgement that the 2022 war ceiling began lowering. Days ago came the clearest statement. Ukraine readies to abandon the NATO path for security guarantees akin to the alliance's Article 5. That phrase alone reveals the war's new chapter, measured not by slogans but cold calculations. Before discussing peace, settlement, or truce, let's fix facts on the ground. After nearly 3 years of fighting, Russia controls about 20% of Ukrainian territory in the east and south. Despite hundreds of billions in Western aid and advanced weapons from HIMARS to Abrams tanks, no strategic breakthrough has flipped the equation. Frontlines stand nearly static for over a year, with slow Russian eastern gains and costly Ukrainian efforts to stem attrition. The war morphed from decisive clash to endurance test, spotlighting Vladimir Putin at the scene's core. Vladimir Putin treats this not as fleeting battle but time's trial, each passing month a bet his foe fatigues before Moscow. Russia built deep defenses, mined front lines, tied the fight to a sanction-resilient economy, knowing time favors the unyielding, promise-capping side. Volodymyr Zelenskyy faces a stark reality, a state battling on external support, an army fed by weapon flows, an economy hooked on aid. Any Washington or European political shift turns instantly to battlefield pressure. Enter the third force, Donald Trump. Donald Trump views Ukraine not as existential cause but overdue. Costly file to close fast. Pressing time for results. Deals. Victory photos regardless if the end comforts all sides. 3 powers now pull the war different ways. Vladimir Putin wagers on time. Volodymyr Zelenskyy seeks political survival exit. Donald Trump craves swift file closure. From here our story starts. This report skips plan recaps, clause breakdowns, repeated lines. It simulates the future, tackling the toughest query. How might this war stop? First path, continuation, ongoing combat in current logic. Open fronts, slow advances, relentless drain. This remains viable. Military aid flows from Washington and Europe. Yet support language evolved, no victory vows. Just risk management, collapse prevention, resilience till resolution. Continuation spells clear costs, aid-dependent economy, assistance-funded budget, ammo flow army, Western political tremors hit frontlines direct. Second path emerges clearly, redefining aims, no more talk of forceful full recovery. Now guarantees, security arrangements, post-war phases. No surrender, but admitting conflict's form changed. Full military win unrealistic short-term. Here arises agreement idea, fighting halt with subsurface political, security strife or long truce. Past cases warn, such formulas freeze. Don't end fights, Korea exemplifies. Cyprus too. Even Donbass pre-2022. They cut deaths but leave arms ready. Anxiety perpetual. State in constant alert. Volodymyr Zelensky's remarks arose amid U.S. pressure. Before intense political talks. As war nears year 4 sands decisive horizon. Choice now pits not win versus loss, but today's price against tomorrow's. Continuation means measured drain, hoping equation shifts someday. Settlement path means ceasefire with deferred risks. Tough tests, space between filled with fragile calm. Probed packs, lingering tension. No heroic speeches here, this is fate management moment, where bullets no longer rule alone. Time, economy, global politics join the fray. Story endures, but surely not the one launched February 2022. We face new chapter where choices weigh not slogans, but bearable loads when dust settles or doesn't. War costs climb. We noted decision point. Ukraine's paths. Problem now not picking road but surviving aftermath. Now hardest query. The bill. And payment timing. For wars run not on rhetoric, but invoices. Since February 2022, Ukraine paid beyond battlefield. Per IMF, economy shrank over 30% first war year. Offset not internally but direct US. EU aid. State fights financially tethered to external lifeline. Today's budget leans heavily Western transfers for salaries, services, infrastructure, army. Washington or Brussels wobble echoes instantly inside Ukraine. Tally the toll. Continuation sees Western estimates peg daily war cost at hundreds of millions dollars. Military ops, ammo, logistics, ruined infrastructure fixes with fourth year inflating it monthly via more gear. Faster ammo burn. Attrition army sans breakthroughs. Direst beyond cash. Humans? Western reports cite hundreds of thousands killed. Wounded both sides. Ukraine faces real demographic crunch as fight drags. Other choice, shifting conflict form. Halting direct combat doesn't erase costs, just reshapes them. Ceasefire or long calm slashes human losses fast but sustains military spend. Army stays vigilant. Borders smolder subsurface. Economy frets perpetual watch. Global cases show unresolved fights turn long-term burdens. Frozen conflicts slowly devour resources. Block full stability. Paradox none admit gladly. Interim peace may cost as much as war. But timing differs, daily direct in fight. Stretched economic. Political. Security in calm. Factor time. Each decision delay adds complexity layers. U.S. elections, European shifts, energy economic crises reshape aid equation. Time turns principal player: who gains, who loses. Ukraine bleeds resources, lives monthly. Russia bets endurance. West tallies aid's political economic toll. Battle no longer fronts alone, it's time fight, making now perilous not just closed-door talks, but ticking clock none pauses. Ultimately, choice pits not war versus peace, but quick bleed versus slow, now's price versus piled explosion later. Thus rhetoric shifts, statements emerge, queries grow toughest ever. Story nears no end, but ignores math no more post-halt realities. Now politics shunned phase, post-decision not signing day, handshake pick, final communique, but week after, 3 months, year on. Simulate unvarnished, 1 week post-major call, fight on or path shift, market stir first, currency, credit ratings, aid flows. Continuation brings no shocks, world habituated. Cautious support lingers, fronts burn. Ceasefire or political pivot tests if aid flips military to economic. Guarantees harden from vows. Weak drops no states, but tone shifts. 3 months, real weight hits. War continuation enters overt drain season. Ammo rationed. Aid debated. West queries morph, how support to how long. Washington snag. European crisis turns battlefield factor. Path change launches intent probes, minor breaches, clashing statements, pulse checks, history flags first month's riskiest, each side mapping others' limits. 3 months, new path entrenches or doubts devour pact internally. Year full, queries turn real. Extra war year hardens fronts more. Amps Ukraine economic reliance. Conditions Western aid state endures, but grows heavier, shock-screened. Calm or partial peace year later bears truth. Investments return? Internals stabilize? Security risks ebb? Global cases say first year reveals. Doesn't seal success direction. Truth unites scenarios. No call abruptly ends strife, mere form change. Continuation turns war long endurance test. Shift to complex management, both press state constant. Back to Volodymyr Zelensky's words, not just NATO, but time's grasp. Each unclear month hardens next call. Story no mere sign or reject, it's aftermath. Who pays? When? How? No fantasy sim, wars whisper this when prolonged. Facts scream sans passion. Ukraine faces no black-white picks, but grays each risk-laden. True query no longer victory, but exit sans new war. Reshaped? Here simulation ends. Reality dawns.